Hey guys, happy February. I wanted to talk about a few ways we can practice and kind of preemptively do our summer glow up. So, I'm just going to kind of be rambling divinely in this video, and I wanted to kind of cover a few things that might be holding you back from getting to your dream life. So, number one, it took me a few days today to kind of clock that it is a new month. I feel like so many of us have been just in this brain fog all of January. January is always such a long month. It's like the armpit of winter. And so many people are saying, Happy New Year now. Like, this is the real New Year. Now we lock in. And that is true. While it's still cold outside and there's still snow on the ground, we want to start thinking, how do I want to feel by summer? And I want you to take a look around and be very realistic with yourself. If current you and goal you are the same person, what this looks like is a mental exercise. So, for example, today I started cleaning points of clutter in my house that I've been ignoring. I feel like anywhere in the house where there's a pile, there are old things in bags, there are old papers, there are messy things. I want you to seriously think, would I put this in a suitcase right now and throw it away? And this is number one. I think this is such a minimal thing, but it's going to affect your mindset so much. For me, I really struggle with cleaning. So I find that doing something like this really helps me get into this mindset. I think something to shock your nervous system can help too. For example, in a good way, not like your daily coffee that you have before drinking water in the morning. But recently I went and I got a massage because I've been having a ton of tension up here. And for me, I was thinking this isn't a justifiable expense. This isn't something that, I should be getting. I'm trying to save money. And I realized sometimes you have to do something to invest in the vision of who you are in your future. That's a big reason I talk about, your energy, your appearance, things like that in this channel. And I wanted to point out the fact that um, a few people sometimes on my channel are very critical of me. And I am very much a normal person. Like, nothing about me is an influencer. I do not have high tech camera equipment. I am not a celebrity. I am a normal person with a job trying to glow up and documenting that journey because I find that far more compelling than these influencers who are saying, oh, I am, a multimillionaire. I was watching a YouTuber I like, and she was saying how she tries to get a massage weekly. And I was like, I can't even fathom what you could do with the amount of money to be getting a massage weekly, on top of all of the other things you're investing in. So I want it to be clear where I may be lacking in polish. We all are. That's the goal of my channel. I want to document to you guys this journey where you are a person, you may not even think highly of yourself, but if you can see that something special in you and have a desire to refine it, that is all you need to be something great. And I really want to convey that always in my channel. Maybe in the future I'll have tons of subscribers and high-tech camera quality, but for now, I want to convey that all you need is a vision and to set clear habits and stick to them. There is very much a process that is holding you back from being the you want to be. And I want to say these things now before it gets to be summer, before it's too late. I think now is really the time to change your mind and dip your toe in and start living like this person you want to become. Like, I think to myself all the time when I'm in a funk, which I so have been this January, what would my dream self be doing right now? Would they be sleeping, eating Netflix? They would be eating Netflix, actually, because you shouldn't eat Netflix. You should eat fruits and vegetables. Which have I been doing that? No. But I think you've got to think, if I were like this dream girl or guy, what would I be doing right now? And I think it's always okay to reset. I think sometimes you even need to resort to negative coping mechanisms if that's what's going to provide you the comfort to associate your goals and the grind and the hustle with the good parts. So, for example, recently I have been lazy, skipping the gym. I have been going back into eating a lot of junk food. There was one day I experienced some stress, and I remember just going to the grocery store. Everything that day was such an inconvenience to me, and I bought donuts and cookies and all kind of treats. And I was just watching myself almost omnisciently as I set myself up for failure in multiple aspects, you know? I'm not saving money, I'm not buying nutritious food, I'm not meal prepping for my days. I'm just buying stuff to cope with the present reality. And I want you to be very clear that I don't think you need to associate that with being morally positive or negative. So I think you just need to start being more mindful. And, like, for example, after I got a massage, I noticed I normally, text my friends updates, what I'm doing, or send them a video or a picture. And I noticed I did not even want to do that. Everything in this place was so quiet, so relaxed. And I'm being mindful now to put my shoulders down because being hunched over and so locked in and lost in the sauce is what got me in this in the first place. And I hope you can see this overarching theme here that, like, don't get lost in the sauce. I want you to stop and think everything you do. Am I intentional? Am I mindful? If I am eating junk food with friends, am I being mindful and enjoying it and being thankful for my friends? Or am I just mindlessly eating on autopilot because I don't have the facilities to cope with something? And I think, again, once in a while, if you're a full-time student, full-time worker, even if you're not, sometimes you got to do what you got to do in the moment to cope. But as we drift into these summer months, I want you to start kind of planning what your life looks like. You know, if that's a vision board for you, great. For me, I have my big calendar, I have my planner. I also have a weekly, like, whiteboard. And a big thing I want to say to you guys, do not give yourself this fatigue over planning. Um, I often do. I have, like, planners all over, and I used to beat myself up so bad. Oh, I didn't write in my fitness planner today. I didn't write on my calendar. I didn't journal. These things are meant to be tools. You are not the tool. That is the tool. Do not let that run your life, or you will look like a tool. So I've gotten to a point where I keep these things handy. And if I'm in a mood like today, I was like, okay, let's kind of see what I'm getting into this week. What is the social calendar looking like? What is the work calendar looking like? Because I want to be mindful of things coming up, but I'm not also going to use this calendar as another tool to stress me out and feel inadequate. So I want you to, I mean, that's another thing about my channel. I'm not one of these color coded organizing girlies, but I think you've got to, like, do what works for you. And I know that's not color coded planning advice, but I've learned, for me too, like, I kind of hate a routine. I hate a routine. I like to do different stuff every single day. But I know if I'm listening to my body, listening to my motivation level, or if I'm just, like, being lazy, like, it could be a walk, it could be hiking by the river, it could be going to the gym, doing a variety of workout classes, or maybe going out somewhere and getting my steps in a public place. But it's not napping and eating McDonald's for dinner. And so I really put my intention for February as, like, organize your life as if Jesus is coming back and Jesus is you. Like, make room for something special. When the holidays are approaching and your family's all coming over, or maybe you're coming to them and you're like, okay, I gotta look nice, I gotta pack my suitcase, I gotta clean the house, I gotta throw out all this excess food. Do all that. I want you to view this summer as, like, somebody special is coming, and it's me, right? I was just cleaning this clutter out. I was, like, burning some incense because I want some new scents in this house. For me, another thing, like, having little seasonal rituals. There's certain things I associate with certain holidays, and really giving into the dogma of that. Like, if that's getting a new hand soap, getting a new hair color, maybe a new manicure, every now and then I buy a new outfit. And it's not like an over shopping, over consuming thing, but it's like, one new outfit that I know I'll wear to work and it'll make me feel more comfortable at work, or, more professional, something that will help me feel powerful. You have got to give into crafting yourself. It's like raising a child. You're thinking, okay, this child's going to need toys for every year of their life. They're going to need clothes and, a college plan. This is you this summer. I want you to start thinking of you as like this thing that is loading. It's being built. It's like when you order Domino's pizza and they're like, John put your pizza in the oven. Sally's checking on your pizza. You are the pizza. Like, you are baking right now. And I want you to be smoking hot for summer. But seriously, I really think February is a good month to draw back in the excitement, draw back in the novelty and the possibility of your future life, and do what you need to do to get what you need to do done. Like, January for me has just been such a like touch and go kind of month with everything. It's like everything's happening, everything's going on. I can't get it under control. I'm making videos on like a million different platforms because my phone has literally been having so many technical difficulties. But it's like, don't ever put yourself down in the process. That's part two. And I'm saying this all now because I'm stoked to have some storage to make a long video for you guys. I know a lot of YouTubers where they post daily, and I ask myself, are people going to get tired of it? Should I clickbait and save my best content and break it up? But I want you guys to know, like, I am just being 100% genuine because I think that's the only way to get anything done in this life. Like, if you have something to say every day, do it. Show up every day. Do the best with what you can until you know more. And then when you know more, do better. That's what Maya Angelou says, way more eloquently than I just worded it. But I love that quote because I hate wasted potential. I hate wasted time and bad habits because they turn your whole life into a bad life. And you'll start thinking it's you and you're a failure and an embarrassment. And it's just that you don't have a system. I look around at people and, I'm sure they feel the same with me, which is why I get all kind of unsolicited stuff on my videos. But you gotta like do the best you can right now, what you know you need to do. And I get all kind of advice from other people, but I know deep down who I am. I know what I want for myself, and you've got to have very strong boundaries. I've been in a lot of situations lately where I've looked back like, wow, if this happened to me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have just laughed it off, made excuses, allowed somebody else to totally make me uncomfortable, or not advocated for myself when I wanted to. When I was getting a massage, the bed was too hot, and the old me would have just struggled and felt bad the whole time. And I told the lady, and she's like, "Oh, I can turn off the warmer." And I know that sounds really silly, but I want you to ask yourself all the times you don't speak up for no reason. Like, not to be not rude, not to not hurt someone's feelings, just anxiety. I mean, so many of us are subliminally encouraging ourselves to not feel comfortable. And I think it's because we think we don't deserve it. And you've just got to practice. You've got to practice making eye contact with people. You've got to practice asking for things. You've got to practice saying no. And I would like to get even more ruthless with that because there are so many situations where I've giggled and said, "Oh, I don't like that," or something, where I should have said, "I said no, that's it." And you see, that statement there does not, when people say no means no, that statement does not invite further discussion. If I say, I don't know, that sounds like I'm asking. And I'm getting so passionate talking about this because, especially young girls or just young people, they don't know how to say, look. I heard a girl say online her biggest relationship advice for like a man she's dating is come correct. And that applies to everything. Like, if they're having an argument, come correct. And you've got to reach a point where you have such a high vision of what your future self will be. You don't accept less because it's not in a vibrational, energetic alignment with what you want. Whether you believe in vibrations, God's path, whatever it is, you're like, no, like, I'm not even entertaining that. when I get scam calls, it's just like goodbye, you know? And I feel like so many people in the past, or like older people who don't know how to deal with it or don't deal with it often, they might argue with the person. Don't let people rage bait you, because that is your precious life force energy. Like, I want you to block out all the distractions and do what you need to do, tortoise and the hare style, because there are so many. And a big one, you know, the other day, I just be on social media as little as possible and create and consume positive content whenever possible. For me, YouTube is always positive because it's more putting things in my head than consuming. Like on an app where you're scrolling, you're just scrolling. It's frying your nervous system. But for me, YouTube is like something I'll play while I'm moving or I'm listening or I'm, pondering. Like, consume things that are positive. And I want you as well to try to create or build or make or rest more than you're just consuming, whether that's snacks. I will tell you guys, I rarely watch TV. Sometimes when I eat, I watch TV, which I think might not be the best thing, but I know a lot of people do that. But I never sit and watch a show unless it's like one episode. And then I tell myself, okay, go on. And honestly, I don't really subscribe to like those streaming services or anything. I mean, I have a TV and I mainly use YouTube, if anything, and then I go about my day. But I want you to, I love audit, is my favorite word on this channel. I want you to audit what all your energy is going to. If I ask you right now, I don't know what all mine is going to. I go to work, I go to the gym. I swear for the rest of the day, it's like a blur, and I'm maybe running errands, maybe doing other stuff. But if you really put things down and say, how long is this going to take me? What steps do I need to do this thing? You've got to figure out how your brain works and how you need to section things out and what you need to allocate your time to first. And you can consume all the content like this you want, but it gets to a point where you know if you're living the life you want or not. Like, I got to a point today where normally I talk to my friends and I say, oh, I'm in my flop era, or I'm trying to do this and trying to do that. And I just realized, do it first and then talk about it. And I cannot emphasize enough, have a sense of self, block out the noise, go ghost. Whatever you need to do, you don't owe people anything. And I've realized a big thing lately is like, you can do whatever you want. Like, and again, don't be rude to anyone. That should go without saying. But like, watch what you consider rude, because so many times when I'm dealing with a person, if they say something kind of backhanded or whatever, they are rage baiting you. Like, they want your energy, they want to dull your energy, whatever it is about you that they're jealous of or curious about or find unattainable. And that is when you say, like something along those lines, whatever is, natural for you to say. But if someone is saying a bunch of stuff that's just negative and not what I agree with, it's not a perspective I like, I don't waste energy to tell them I don't agree. I just say, and go do what you need to be doing. There are very few times you need to let yourself get rage baited. If you have relationships in your life, I want you to look very closely. I've had very strong boundaries lately with people about their tone and respect, because I never talk crazy to anyone. So if somebody is not coming correctly to me, I am going to check that really quickly. And again, it's not, why are you doing, you can't talk to me. It's not, it's like, do not raise your voice at me. And if that does not disarm the situation, you have permission to go. I tell people I am the biggest, like, only child when it comes to things, because I tell people, if you don't like something, go. Like, it's your life. I remember, this is little, whatever, but I remember Ryan Higa, he made a video in like years ago about surviving a horror movie. And he said, if you see a single light hanging from the ceiling, GTFO. If you see someone that's not supposed to be there, GTFO. And I found that so funny at times, but it's so true. Like, get the heck out of there. If you don't want to be somewhere, if they're talking in a way you don't like, if you get a bad feeling, practice dipping, right? If something feels like it's not worth it, I've gotten to a point where if I even get that about something, it's a no. If I'm doing something and it's not worth my while, it's a no. If I'm running errands and the store is just so packed and there's no parking and I'm just getting this, and start to view things as premonitions, as signs from the universe, signs from God, whatever you believe in. Like, if I go somewhere and it's overly packed, I'm like, this looks, the saying like nothing good in coming home after midnight or something like that. It's like, my parents would always raise me like, it's late, it's cold, it's dark, stay in, stay in. And a lot of that is just fear and wanting your kids to be safe. But I follow that very seriously as a grown up. Like, just mind your business, be where you're supposed to be. Don't be turning up somewhere where you're going to get in something you don't want to be involved in. That's really the best advice I have. And, people will talk, people like, let's look at this for example. If you put yourself out there in social media, you're asking to be critiqued, you're asking for people. And I want to say, do that as little as possible unless you're genuinely creating, right? Like, I used to be on social media where it was more just like social networking versus something like this where I'm trying to create and educate people and inspire people. And I'd get in all kind of ignorant discussions with people, and it's just like, don't do that. It siphons your energy so much. And that is the biggest thing. I look back and I'm like, probably 75% of the social interactions and online interactions I've had in the past in my life were a waste of time. I could have been learning a language, resting in that time, and dating, do not let dating or your relationship be the worst thing siphoning your energy. It should be pouring into you. It should be positive. It should be building your self-confidence. And so many people have Stockholm syndrome with partners. And I want to ask you like a few questions real quick if you are in a relationship. And if you're not, listen up, because I think about this all the time for when I am in one. Are you absorbing this person's problems as if they're your own? You are put here on earth for a short amount of time to get to be you. You're not put here to be someone's mom or dad if they're a grown adult. Is this person uplifting you? Are they making you feel like your dreams matter and you can accomplish anything? So many people in relationships are like gaslighting themselves that this is the ideal dynamic because they've gotten comfortable with it and they don't want to go through the emotional distress of losing someone they like, But there are plenty of fish in the sea, and there's a difference between, oh, we have a frustration or we're not all the same. That's fine, that's normal, and that's why you need your own life, okay? But yeah, I'm not going to get all into that now, but I want you to audit every single thing in your life. Put your right now, put your shoulders down, roll your shoulders back, stretch your neck up, stretch your head around, relax your jaw. Where are you holding tension in your body? What is something that's stressing you out? I want you to ask yourself these questions all the time. How do I feel around this person? If someone makes my heart go like this, I used to think that's love. That is a red flag. That is your body being like, run like there is a predator. I just want you to start considering all of these things and implementing new things, and that is what's really going to help you on this summer glow up journey, and I think no matter where you're at, you can try to improve for the summer. But and now I'm kind of excited since we're getting closer to that summer, but start with mentality, because that is what's going to be there for you always. That is you. You are there for you always, and you know you better than anyone else. That is a beautiful advantage. Become your best friend, become the love of your own life, and I'm sure other people will have no problem with it. But block out all the noise. Nobody is going to tell you you're crazy or delusional because you don't respond to a hate comment. And if they do, they're crazy and delusional. Block that too. Good luck. Stay hydrated. Subscribe.